Hey there, dreamers and doers. Amanda here from Be the Black Sheep, and this is another episode of MagicPD where we show you how to bring the magic home. Oh my goodness, I am so beyond excited because we've got a really, really special guest here today with us. Lee Kitchen is many things. He's an amazing, incredible man. Now, I'm going to just read all of the fabulous things that he is. He is a lead innovation catalyst with Magical Dude Consulting. Now, that's just the first part. 5-star innovation catalyst, keynote speaker, workshop leader, culture change agent, design thinking trainer, Avengers and Star Wars fanboy. That's the
That's important stuff to add.
And overall magical dude. So Lee has worked for the Walt Disney Company for 32 years. He's out doing his own thing now, and he is a rock star. He's a certified master facilitator and long-term innovation agent. He has so many things that he can tell us, and there's so many things I need to tell you about him. What he's all about is creating impactful marketing campaigns, memorable guest experiences, operational efficiencies. That's what he did with the Walt Disney Company. Now he offers us and everybody else his magic and his wisdom in a mix of virtual. He has nailed this virtual training game, guys. I've seen what he does. It is incredible. And of course he does in-person training, interactive workshops, facilitated idea sessions, and inspiring keynote sessions all around the world. He's kind of amazing, not gonna lie. Lee, how are you?
I'm great. I need to take you on all my sessions because that was like the best intro I have ever experienced. That was phenomenal. Thank you.
Well, you need that kind of intro. You're killing it. It's amazing.
Great.
I love it.
Really awesome. Thank you. I really feel welcome. I've been looking forward to this. I'm jealous of all my Disney colleagues that you've talked to before. I've been ready to do this.
He's been waiting in line. Here he is.
Yeah, I know you inspire a lot of people, and that's what I love to do. I love to inspire people. So let's do it together. Yes.
Let's do it. Let's make with the inspiration.
Exactly.
So, Lee, you've been doing a lot in the virtual world. Let's touch on that first, if we can. Tell me about how that's all panned out for you.
Well, you know, I've been out of Disney since 2017, and most of the sessions I do, so I'm an innovation catalyst, which means I help people come up with ideas, right? I help train people to think differently. I help people to think about business challenges and problems differently. And most of the time I do all those sessions in person. You know, I go to a location and I gather 20 people together, but as of March, we weren't gathering together anymore. So I had to really quickly pivot. And the cool thing about it is that since I left Disney, I've been like the online virtual wizard. And I've just been waiting for everybody to kind of join up with me. And it was a great excuse to do that at the end of March. And so I pivoted my business to do a lot of the stuff that I did in person online. And it's really great. It took a while to understand the psychology behind it because people behave differently when they're looking at you on their screen as they do when they're sitting in front of you in person. So I had to understand the nuances. And the way I did that was going to a lot of socializing. I did a lot of happy hours. And I took all of the things I learned of those happy hours and brought them into the business world. And so far, it's been a huge success. When you have a virtual session with me, it's not your ordinary, what I call Brady Bunch meeting. It's a lot of fun. There's sometimes dancing involved. There's definitely a lot of interaction. So yeah, I've been really enjoying that piece of it.
That's awesome. And I'm assuming you're getting fantastic feedback because that's the kind of event I want to attend. I don't want to sit there with my cup of tea or my cup of coffee while someone drones on at me during a Zoom meeting, right?
Exactly.
This must be just going gangbusters for you.
Yeah, the thing I try to really get in to people's heads is that it's definitely active versus passive, because normally when you sit in a Zoom meeting with your work colleagues, it's very passive. You know, you can or can't, you know, you could be multitasking on a million different things, but I specifically say, hey, 3 days beforehand, here's a list of guidelines. We're not going to be multitasking. We're going to be ready to be spot on. You're going to ready to stand up and move or dance or something like that, and we're going to still be interacting with each other. So that's worked really well for me so far. I make sure that people know this is interactive. We're going to work together and we're going to do a bunch of stuff, which everybody loves. You know, it's much more fun than your regular Zoom meeting.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Now, I'm just going to quickly interject there. How can people, like, if they want to do this for their business or their company or their corporation, how can they reach out to you to do that? Just while that's fresh in their mind.
Well, definitely my LinkedIn page. My first name is Lee, my last name is Kitchen. And then beyond that, advice that I would always give people when they're doing stuff like that is just think about the guidelines in advance and send people the guidelines. It's amazing. Even in sessions that I do, I have these things called how to be's. And it's basically, hey, we're going to be together for the next 2 hours. Here's how I would like you to behave for the next 2 hours so we get the most out of it. So just asking people how you would like them to behave. And, people are adults and they'll usually do it for you. So I try to do that in advance. And then when I get to the meeting, I'm like, hey, just a reminder, don't multitask. Shut off those emails and shut off your phone, turn it upside down, and make sure you close the door so the dog or the kids can't get in while you're on this call. Because we only have like an hour together, so let's make the best use of it. And usually when you give people those parameters, they're really generous with you. And then at the end, they're like, wow, I got so much out of that. And you're like, yes, it's because we weren't getting distracted by everything around us.
Yes,
right?
No, that is great. That's amazing advice, because I think even not just even just having been thrust into this Zoom culture, so to speak, just, people were using it before, obviously, but that is such a great tip. Everyone watching at home and listening at home, just having a couple of ground rules or parameters or how to be's, as Lee calls them. That's simple. Incredible. Think of how empowering that is for the person facilitating and everyone who's participating. That is incredible. I love that. I'm going to put that in the notes below the video so that you guys remember that one. Now,
I call people out too. When I get a group of people together, I make sure that I call them on them individually, because they have to kind of be on their toes and not looking elsewhere. So I find that people, I draw them into the camera kind of thing. And it's a sign of success when I see everybody just kind of waiting for the next time to interact. So it's perfect.
Yeah, they're sitting there like this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love that. Now, Lee, you did promise me you had a story about Disney Toy Box. Now,
I did.
familiar with Disney Toy Box. You got to tell me all about it.
You're intrigued by Toy Box. I know you are. I know you're a huge Pixar fan. So, Disney actually had their own customized design thinking program. So, design thinking has been around for a long time. Design thinking, creative problem solving has been around since the 50s and 60s. It was invented by Alex Osborne and Sid Parnes. You can do that homework. They started the Creative Problem Solving Institute in Buffalo. And what happened is that Disney decided we wanted a customized version of this. They contracted with a really great company similar to IDEO. Have you ever heard of IDEO before? And we created this design thinking process that was customized for the way we did business. And it still involved making sure that you scope out your challenge collaboratively. So let's figure out what we're solving for before we go to solve it. It was definitely involving empathy. So let's take time together as a team and go walk in our consumers and our end users' shoes. That so many times in business, it's left out. It's just left out. People don't think about it. They have assumptions about how their consumers interact with their products, but they don't actually get out there and see what they're doing. So let's take all that rich data and let's all be inspired by it. And now that we have all that, let's create this really great brainstorm in this idea session where we can just create a bunch of ideas to solve this challenge, right? I mean, we're going to use only 2 ideas, but we're going to try to create 200 of them to make sure we have plenty to choose from. And then let's spend some time after that kind of converging on those ideas and figure out, hey, how do they match up to the things that we wanted them to do? And how are they match up with our success criteria? And then let's prototype them really quick, and then let's send them out into the world. It's a great process. And Toy Box was great because it gave everybody in the organization like a common language around creativity. The thing that we found a lot is that people didn't speak that same language in Imagineering, in marketing, and merchandise, and consumer products. And so just training this process all gave us the common language on, hey, we're all going to be greenhousing today, which means we're going to be thinking big and saying yes and instead of no because. That alone made a huge difference across disciplines. It was really fun to watch. And the ideas just got so much bigger. You know, the first year I started doing this, we'd see the same ideas over and over. And by the end of the 5 years after we trained everybody, we were really getting some really, really big, like game-changing style ideas. So it's actually where the Magic Band originated in a session like that. So the Magic Band and the whole My Disney experience originated in that kind of session, which is really, you know, we hadn't thought about it differently until then, and then we really changed the game with that. So
that is incredible.
Seen that, you know what a Magic Band is, right?
Absolutely. Well, that's what I was just going to say. For those of you that haven't visited Walt Disney World, it's basically, it looks like a little watch that empowers you to do pretty much everything on property, right? So it opens your room door, you can pay for things, it's your fast passes.
You know where that came from? You know where the idea came from? It came from the idea of challenging the rule of having turnstiles. So there was a
Yeah.
time when we all had turnstiles at every park, and
Yes.
if you were to think about it, there were so many rules about doing that. We couldn't see past the end of our nose because of all the rules. And one of the rules was we have to have turnstiles. So in a big session, imagine somebody saying, "Hey, what if we didn't have any turnstiles?" You know, all of the operations people were like, "What? No, we have to have turnstiles. It's the only thing, you know, it's like the thing we have to have. So let's stop for a second. Just imagine a world without them." And man, once you just give that permission to people to stop and break the rules, that's when they start thinking, well, maybe we could do a retina scan or a secret handshake or something like that, or maybe we could just give them some wearable technology. And if you look now, there's no turnstiles at Walt Disney World at all.
Right.
It's just it's a whole changed world, but we had to imagine it without it before we could actually get there. You know,
that's really powerful, and
it is.
In that environment, it makes you forget you're in a theme park, if that makes sense. If
Absolutely,
it makes you, it just is a seamless, magical, fabulous experience. It makes you forget that it's this construct.
You're ready to go back. I know you are. I bet you're excited at the announcement that they're opening. They're on phase 2. They're opening in the next couple of weeks. So
I'm so excited. But then
I'm sure you're getting your
when can I
trip
come?
down to the
When
boat.
can I come?
Well, it's really hot there now, but I mean, where you live, it's probably hot too. So.
Oh no, we're in winter right now, so it's a little chilly.
Oh, okay, all right.
In Queensland, so in Brisbane, we're kind of like your weather in Florida, so it's more like a tropical climate, so it doesn't get super cold here, but it's cold.
Yeah, well, now's the time then. You have to wait a little bit on Disney Cruise Line, but that's a whole nother interview.
Look,
I spent 7 of the best years of my career there. That's a great product.
Okay, give us a little bit of an insight. Tell me.
Well, I worked on the brand management team there as a communications person. I helped with all the pre-arrival communication and post cruise communication. And it was a tough gig because I was also a special event manager in my past life and a broadcast manager. So they often asked me to go and sail with media, and it was a really tough gig to, you know, have to have the ship as my office for a week, you know.
Terrible.
It was horrible. Terrible. But, you know, somebody had to do it. I just had to take one for the team on that. And I was lucky enough to sail somewhere between 60 and 70 times. And I'm telling you, I did not want to lose that privilege. So every time I would get off that ship, I would race to work, and I would beat everybody else who was in the office to work, because I wanted them to know. I didn't want people to know that I was out of the office, because I wanted to make sure that I didn't lose that privilege, because it was so amazing. It's such an amazing product. And if you love Disney and you haven't experienced it before, just the level of Disney plus the level of, it's just a classy ride. You know, it's a really, all those ships are really beautiful. They have separate areas for teens and adults, and teens, adults, and kids and families, and it's really great. So definitely go on one.
That's incredible. I'm on the next one. I don't know when that'll be, but I'm there. I'm so there. Now, there is one more thing I wanted to pick your brain on, Lee, and it's very specifically, if I can get my words out, and literally about bringing the magic right home. Tell me about a birthday you did recently.
A birthday?
Yeah.
Yes. So are you talking about Sarah's birthday, what I was telling you about? So yes, so we were getting a little bored at being quarantined, and I decided that I thought it'd be really special to share some Disney magic with Sarah. And so on Friday, when she was coming home from work, I had basically set up zones in our house with screens and YouTube videos and music and special effects, aka a spray bottle of water and an air canister. And she got to ride Splash Mountain, and we rode the carousel, and we saw great moments with Mr. Lincoln, and we end up watching Illuminations, and I had programmed all my hue lights to go off of the Illuminations, and it was awesome. It was so awesome. Haunted Mansion, we did the Haunted Mansion, and it was really great. I don't know if you ever been on Tough to Be a Bug, but she had actually the bugs that, you know, tickle their feet and all that kind of stuff. It was really fun. And it wasn't that hard. I found that it was, first of all, there's a whole plethora of great Disney videos on YouTube. That encompassed with the playlist that I had on Spotify and the special effects, and I would put her in like facing other directions so I could do everything in the background. But it was a fun night of quarantine where we didn't really have to go anywhere. We still had fun Disney magic, and we ended with Illuminations. I mean, come on, what day isn't great when you end it with, and they don't even have Illuminations anymore, so it was even better.
I know, technology.
Yeah, it was really great. And actually, I've been requested to actually do some other attractions that I didn't think of last time. So next time we're going to be trying Test Track and or the Cars ride at Hollywood Adventure, or excuse me, at California Adventure.
Yes.
We're going to be doing what's the Soarin'. So Soarin' is another thing that we're going to try.
Perfect.
But
Yeah.
super simple stuff, you guys. And again, all it was a screen and some special effects and some Disney magic, and anyone can do this.
That's it. And that's I think the thing. I think people probably think, oh, I want to do something a little more grand than normal, and they think it's difficult, but it's really not. It's about
pretty simple.
Right?
Yep.
Just stopping for a second and thinking, what do I already have access to, and what's the little,
yeah. And really the other thing is that I did How to Bees with her. I'm like, you just have to suspend disbelief. You can't watch the man behind the curtain. You have to look forward, and you have to have a great time. And she had a blast. It was one of the best times we had during this quarantine situation, and I can't wait to do it again. So
that's amazing. I have a personal challenge for you. So my favorite ride at Disneyland, so in California, is the Indiana Jones ride. So I would like to recreate that, please.
Yeah, that's really great. I have a bar stool that when we did Splash Mountain, I actually bent the bar stool back and actually pushed it forward. I had a seatbelt around her too, so she wouldn't go into the screen. But that's a challenge. I will do that. I haven't been on Indiana Jones in a long time, but yes, I will definitely do that. Personally, I would have picked Dinosaur, same ride system, but I know all the words to Dinosaur because I've been on it so many times, so I could probably pull that one off easier. So
that's awesome. It's more, I just wanted to see how you dealt with the big boulder, like that part.
Yeah, right. Figured that one out. Well, I could probably do a Dinosaur because I have like a stuffed Chewbacca and Jar Jar Binks that I could probably use as a dinosaur.
That's perfect. You don't need dinosaurs when you have Star Wars dinosaurs. I could
do Star Tours too, probably pretty easily. So
That sounds amazing. All right, well, we definitely need an update on how that goes. That's going to be fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today, Lee. Really appreciate it. All the viewers and listeners are just going to love this one. Now, just remind us again, if people want to reach out to you for your services or just follow what you're doing online, where can they find you?
Yep, they can find me on LinkedIn, so linkedin.com/Lee Kitchen, KITCHEN, and then I'm on facebook.com/LeeBXLT. So please connect with me. I'm sure your followers are big Disney fans. I'm a big Disney fan, so let's connect.
Awesome. So, and I will put that information in the notes and comments for you guys. Lee, thank you again for your time. You have been incredible as always.
Thank you.
Thank you all at home for watching this episode of MagicPD, where we show you how to bring the magic home. As always, any questions, hit me up on my website. All my contact information is there. BeTheBlackSheep.com.au, and as always, I'll chuck it in the comments and the notes as well. Have a fabulous day, evening, wherever you are on this planet, and we'll catch you for another episode soon. Catch ya.
Bye guys. Thank you.